In fact, I haven't been doing many lives at all because the film quality is nowhere near good enough. But it is really, really lovely to be able to chat to you all. So, I thought we'd give it a go today. As you can see, we're in the woods. Leaves are falling, it's looking very autumnal. Now, as I freely say time and time again, my dogs have very nice adventures. They get plenty of exercise, plenty of challenges, but they also get really boring times. And I will say this over and over again because people don't quite sort of get it. So they've had a boring 12 hours whilst I've been working a night shift. But this is what makes that doable. You can have boring times with your dogs if you make it up to them. So, yes, I'm tired, but if I want to have dogs and be a shift worker, this is what has to happen. And to be honest, I think this is good for shift work anyway. I will certainly sleep better. Merlin, too much. But Merlin has got a bit too much energy today. But no, as I was saying, if I went straight home, occasionally I do have to do it. If I'm really shattered, particularly on the last shift, when I know the dogs can have a really good walk later on in the day, then I might just let them out on the field after work, and then we go straight home and sleep. But generally, to come out to the woods like this is just under a mile loop. It is good for all of us. I can then sleep so much better. Right, hold on, I need to multitask. Pick up dog's mess. Actually, that's right in the edge, that can be kicked off into the grass. There we go. So, yeah, I don't know what you all do for jobs. I work on the railway, and it's one of the jobs. By doing shift work, I can afford a home of my own as a single person. I can afford my dogs. I can sometimes afford to compete them and go for lessons and things. Not always though. So that I have to be half sensible with. But as long as I can afford tank of fuel to go and take the dogs on adventures, that's what matters to me. And this is just gorgeous out here. Why wouldn't I want to be out here at this time of day? One of the real joyful things is that you tend to get this pretty much to yourself at this time of day. There's one other guy, he walks, he's got 2 poodle crosses, and I often see him. He's also wearing orange. I've never asked him where he works or what he does. We just nod and smile as most dog walkers do. But I often see him around. I started this walk in the dark today, hence not videoing, and had a head torch on. But at least we get to do most of it in the light at the moment. Once the clocks change, unfortunately, this will be a head torch walk, and I won't come right round the woods. I'll stick to the higher tracks, the ones that run parallel to the roads. Hey guys! Because I have to be half aware of safety, obviously. They've got way too much energy. I've jumped in as though you all know us, but of course some of you might not. Guys, you gonna say hi? So this is Oti. Hey, gorgeous girl. And she is a 5-year-old Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever. You good girl, aren't you? And this is Merlin, who is a 2-year-old Corgi Cross Collie. Hey guys, okay. And we do a bit of everything. Merlin, leave her. Good. Merlin, too much. So when he's being all bouncy and boisterous, I do have to step in, because obviously this isn't a natural pack scenario. We just have to let him know that's not allowed. Yes, we do a bit of everything. They do rally obedience, agility, but I'm not competing them. Agility at the moment. We go walking and hiking all around the UK. They just do a bit of everything. They go on paddle boards and kayaks, steam trains. We do quite a lot to keep their brains working, because that's what makes having working type breeds livable. And of course little duck dog's gone down to find some water. Where is she? Oh, she's gone off paddling downstream. As you can hear, the bird call this time of year, this time of morning, is just lovely. Good boy, Merlin. You lost your sister. Good girl, Alex. Did you go for a paddle? Yeah. So, good girl. Did you go for a paddle? One of the absolute joys about living where we do in Devon, in England, UK, are these lovely woods and forests. They're not spectacular on the level I've seen in some countries, but they're just wonderful and they're real feel good. And our favourite ones all have rivers or streams running through them, which we've had very little rain lately, so there's not actually much water at all, but there's still plenty for a paddle. And the woods further over, there's enough for a swim. These two play very well together. I just have to watch, because Merlin is a cross of two herding breeds. Yes, you. Yes, you. Hey, particularly, come here, you corginess. Yes, obviously corgis are bred to nip heels of cattle and be very persistent about it. And that's why I have to step in sometimes and go, oi, too much for your sister. But when I step in and then his sister gets a jab in back, I sort of go, oi, and leave you to it. OT, as I said, is a Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever. And stars, it's the breed that stars in the film Good Dog. Very retrievery, in very food orientated. Life is all food for OT. OT! Good boy, Merlins. Good boy. And you can see the moment there's food out, I've got a different dog. Oh, that's a nice retrieve. Good. And she gets absolutely obsessive about it. So when I train OT, good dogs, okay. I don't tend to train with food in my hand as a lure, because she just can't concentrate on what you're asking. It is literally a brain thing. Food, obsessive, can't think. Whereas Merlin, being more collie type, I can train him very differently. I love all different breeds of dogs and find them all fascinating. I've had 3 collies, a German Shorthair Pointer, Pyrenean Sheepdog, Working Cocker, I had a Cocker Spaniel as a child, I briefly had a Greyhound, fostering. I've worked a lot with Labradors and Spaniels as gun dogs, and I do love them all. But I do particularly like thinking breeds. As I say, the downside of having thinking breeds is that I've just come off a 12-hour shift and they have to go for some exercise. It's not a nice to have, it's got to be done. Unfortunately, we've got a Doberman in our area, but it's bored stupid. Zona comes off night shifts, chucks it out into the garden, and it barks incessantly. You can't do that, guys. If you want to have intelligent working type dogs, be prepared to put time in the work in. But on the flip side, I obviously do get quite a lot of days off. And they're the days we can go off and be out for hours. Or even if we're not out for hours, we're out training, we're out doing things. Listen, I'm just going to stop for a moment. Isn't this just lovely? Every now and then I have to stop and think, how lucky are we? But I get to come home from my work and come and enjoy these stunning areas. Just is pretty special. So what part of the world are you all from? Are you UK? We're all over. Like I say, the filming for this isn't great quality, but it does mean I get to meet new people and show new people around our area because it's advertised on a different platform. And if you do enjoy our walks, you'll find in our playlists there's a Spectacular Walks album, Walks on Dartmoor. There's some lovely walks albums that you can go and enjoy. And see what else we get up to in much better quality. They're off exploring. Is that good fun? For a small dog, he's got a lot of bounce. Hey, good cow. And I also hadn't really realised until I got OT and was part of a sort of taller community that there's a lot of parts of the world but you can't let your dogs have free roam like this. Now the restrictions in the UK are that your dogs must be under full control at all times. So if I call these dogs, they come. Guys, good job, nice work. And that takes training, obviously. Okay. Or if I ask them to sit or wait, they do that. I tend to do that with a whistle though. Haven't got one on me. And your dog must wear collar and ID tag or harness and ID tag at all times in public, unless your dog is actually working at that moment in time, which there's very few dogs that are, because even gun dogs and things, when they're working, they tend to be on private land. When they're on public land, they're just being exercised. So we don't have masses of restrictions in the UK for our dogs. What that does mean though, is you get quite a lot of badly behaved dogs. And OT's been getting a bit reactive, particularly around the car lately. Because certainly in the sort of town car parks, we've got some wonderful parks. But in the car parks, people don't control their dogs. And we've had one jump in the car on top of her, and several just be a pain. And that's always a shame. So obviously if you do have dogs, do take responsibility for them. But look, we're sort of at the 3/4 of a mile mark. And I just saw the guy with these 2 poodle crosses. He was getting back to his car as I left. We haven't seen anyone else. I can't look at my watch while I'm filming, but I think we're about 7:30 in the morning now. And as I say, this means we'll all go home and all be ready for bed. Because it's a big ask, asking the dogs to sleep for 12 hours with one break in the middle for a short walk, and then to go back to bed whilst I sleep. And that's why this morning exercise is so important for them. I didn't start filming earlier, one because it was dark, but also because we're going up a quite steep slope at the start of this walk. Think of it as like a figure of 8 scale electric track. So whichever side we start on, we start uphill. But this one I find I get the worst of the uphill to start with and finish with the slight uphill, which is much nicer. I did it the other way yesterday and regretted it. And I can hear a little duck dog. So she knows that once we get much beyond here, there's no more entry points to the water. So that's why she's making the most of it and going down to the river for a bit of a paddle. So you can just hear in the background there road noise. We are coming back towards the road. We've got a little way to go. I go to far more remote woods, but like I said, when I'm walking on my own, particularly when I'm starting in the dark, I actually want to be a bit closer to civilization. Have a quick look around us. So we've basically got, if you think of it, but not on a massive scale, a gorge in the middle. And we've gone down one side of it, across, and up the other side. The ferns will the first look very autumnal. I'm actually going to head to Wales in a couple of weeks' time, see if I can enjoy some autumn colours there in the forests. I do love autumn. I say it's my favourite time of the year, especially when we have dry, wonderful days like this. It really is. But then we get winter with the snow and the ice, and I say I love winter too. And then you have the long days of summer, and I love summer. So actually my conclusion is, as much as us British and particularly English are known for whinging about the weather, I do love the seasons. I considered moving to Spain years ago because I do get seasonal affective disorder. I don't like the winter. The lack of light doesn't do me any favours, but that's why I have to make sure I get out. And like I say, I considered Spain, but actually I'd miss our good old seasons. Guys! Come on, too far! Guys, now! Good. Well done. So, they're not allowed beyond. Oti! Now! Oti! Good girl! Good! Well done. Cheeky monkeys. So they're not allowed the points past the point at which I can see what's coming towards us. Well done, hooligans. No, you're not being rewarded for that. That was way too slow. Thank you. What Otie's after is going round again. which I did do earlier in the week, but it wasn't today. I'd just come off a night shift and I had far more energy. So no, we're not going round again. So this is that slight incline I was saying about. But I'd rather finish my walk on a slight incline than a big one. Right, we're nearly back at the car park. It's time to pop dogs on leads and head to the car. But it's been lovely having you all along with us. Hope you have a really good day. Take care, everyone. We'll see you all soon. Are you going to say goodbye? Good girl. Take care, everyone.